Think about a time when you're in a packed parking lot trying to find an open spot, but you're about to pull up and you realize that it's a handicap spot. And you think, oh, bummer, that's not fair. But have you ever thought about it the other way around? Just about how a handicapped person will feel if they go up and all the spots and close spots are taken? How would you feel in that position? Everyone has seen someone or has probably knows someone who is handicapped or disabled, but not everyone knows what handicapism is or what it is like to be handicapped. According to the Minnesota's Governor's Council of Developmental Disabilities, handicapism is a theory and set of practices that promote unequal and unjust treatment of people because of an apparent or assumed physical or mental disability. Handicapism is essentially how people are treated in relation to assumptions or practices of their physical and mental circumstances, especially pertaining to face-to-face interactions and other social settings. I have personal experience with handicapism as I nanny children who are disabled, as well as I work with someone who is handicapped. I work hand in hand with my coworker Eric, who has autism, and he struggles significantly with face-to-face interaction that is required at our job daily. He struggles with handicapism, and people assuming that he will do the job differently. In addition, Olivia and Ethan are both on the spectrum and possess characteristics of sensory disorder, stuttering, and anxiety with social interactions. I have seen people treat them differently and look at them differently simply because they have different physical and mental conditions. How many of you hate when someone automatically assumes something about you? Could be because of the way you dress, could be because of the way you talk, the way you act, and before you get the chance to make your own impression, people already have an idea or opinion about you. It can be challenging to change someone's perspective when they have an automatic judgment or bias on you just for being you. How does this affect handicapped people's lives, you might ask? Well, this judgment of handicapism results in handicapped people struggling to find jobs and keeping jobs. According to recent statistics, again provided by the Governor's Council on Developmental Disabilities, only 36% of disabled people are employed. According to this statistic, if everyone in this class was handicapped, only 5 people in the class would be employed, as there are 16 of us enrolled in this class, which is less than 1/3 of the class being employed. This is because of the judgment towards the people and assumptions made by employers being a prime representation of handicapism. This makes it very evident that these people are judged and sometimes not even given the chance to work just because of the assumption people make about their differences. The World Health Organization says people with disabilities are more likely to be fired than people who are non-disabled. Employers think these conditions and characteristics make these disabled people incapable of performing tasks or jobs, when in reality, they would just perform them differently or possibly slower. Furthermore, a lot of disabled people cannot read, and if you cannot read, then you can only apply for low-paying minimum wage jobs. According to recent studies done by the Governor's Council on Developmental Disabilities, 85% of disabled people have incomes less than $7,000, and 52% of those incomes are less than $2,000. This means that out of 100 disabled employees, only 15 make over $7,000, and the other 85 employed disabled people make less than most of our college grants and scholarships. Of these jobs, salaries are often lower as people in these circumstances are generally hired for lower paying jobs that require less education. The World Health Organization says that children with disabilities are less likely to attend school than non-disabled children. Ethan and Olivia both attend school, but they learn differently and are enrolled in different programs where they work with specialized mental health doctors and teachers in addition to their regular classes through a program called Brain Balance. I work with both of them and do brain balance activities with them as well as take them to these appointments. Handicapism is present in people's daily lives, especially as people continuously treat them with pity. Oftentimes, people look at disabled people and they feel sorry for them. They look at them and they treat them lower and less than. And most times, middle aged or people with disabilities are treated or are seen as younger than they are. Some people treat disabled people who are the same age as them as children. They hold a different level of respect and tone in which they speak to them. In addition, one of the most powerful and painful forms of handicapism is the avoidance of a person. This is pertaining to when people are talking about someone as if they aren't even there. I have experienced this countless times with people talking to me and saying something about Olivia and Ethan as they are right there. When people talk about the kids in front of their faces, it makes it seem as if they're talking about an object. Even if the kids do not respond or say anything, I know that they can hear, and it makes them feel weird, and they're so used to it at this point that they don't often respond or react. Today, I have talked about what handicapism is and how it has affected the lives of disabled people in response to how others treat them. I talked about how these people's lives and careers are in the fate of the assumptions and unequal treatment of employers and everyone who comes into their life. Has this information made you think about how you will treat the next disabled person you see?